Welcome back to part 45 of Neil Donaldson's Lotus XL restoration. Now, in this episode, I'm going to remove the wiper motor, the connection, the wheel box connected to the wiper motor, strip it apart, and try and fix the gremlins that I've been having with the wiper motor. The gremlins have basically been this: is that generally speaking, the wiper motor works fine. But when I have been driving for about 15 minutes and been operating the wipers, it fails to switch off. So I'm suspecting there's something wrong with the park switch, the connector for the park switch, or maybe even the relay, so the delay relay in the wiper motor. Just before I start, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the tips and advice I've been getting off people. For this episode, particularly Angus Marshall, who's very well connected with the local Lotus XL community. He gave me some good tips, particularly when it came to reassembling the wiper mechanism. As it happened, I took the dashboard. I've already taken the dashboard out of the car, so it wasn't such a big issue. But if you don't take the dashboard out, it can be a little bit awkward to get the wiper motor back in place. However, with the tips that I got from Angus, it would have made the job a lot simpler. Let's get started then in removing the wiper motor. To remove the wiper motor, which is this thing here, it seems to be held on by two nuts on that side, which is connected to a cable sort of through there to the wiper arm itself. What I'll do is I'll try and loosen those two nuts first, and yeah, the wheel box is sort of located sort of underneath here. So I'll unbolt the wiper blade itself and the wheel box, I think, from here. 13mm socket. So remove the nuts, the washer and the rubber grommet. It looks like it's secured on there by about a 22mm nut. I've been warned here to tie a piece of string around the wheel box and then sort of thread the string through when I'm pulling out the wiper mechanism. It makes apparently it makes reinstallation a lot easier, so I'll try and do that. A 90mm deep socket. Yeah, okay, I'll use two hands though to do it. Yeah, it wasn't on super tight, that. And then another washer. And that looks like there's a piece of rubber or something. The rubber washer. And hopefully that will loosen up now and come out, but obviously the motor will have to come out first. So what I'll do is I'll try and find a piece of string and tie it around the end here to aid when it comes out. So I've tied the piece of string on there, just leave that there as is, like that for now. Now I'm going to focus on the motor itself. I've already disconnected the connector of everything except this looks like a neutral or a negative line there, an earth wire. And I'll just try and remove the two nuts. Yeah, that's that done. So I'll remove those two nuts now, and hopefully the motor and its mechanism will come out. So those two are out, and now the motor should pull out. It does. And the wheel box is also dropped. I can feel it. The brackets there come off. I'll just remove it. Yeah, that's the bracket. Holds it all in place. And hopefully I can outmaneuver the whole thing out. I've got to be a bit careful about this thing here. But other than that, it should have just come out. But let me see if I can do that. Yeah, it comes out no problem, just fits through there. As you can see, I've still got string attached, so obviously the fact that I pulled the string through there, I can now release it as long as there's a piece of string hanging outside and inside the car. Right, that should be alright. I'll remove this, what looks like a 7mm not holding that earth wire on. Actually, those are imperial nuts, so I'm going to see if I can find an imperial socket set to get this out. So I've got the wiper motor and wheel box out. I'll take them upstairs now and take it to pieces, try and give them a bit of a clean up and see what's what. Let's have a look what we've got here. Okay. Yeah, could do with a decent clean up in here. Clip, washer, then remove the mechanism. There's another washer somewhere. No, it is, it's on there. Okay, that also comes apart. That's the cable wheel. It's a bit stiff, the cable here, so I'll clean that out, and yeah, it's a little bit bent as well, so I'll straighten that out. Then we'll turn over the motor, and there's another clip here which needs to be removed. The washer. Come on, you beauty. Yep. There. Now, the wheel should come out, but yeah, it does. Okay, the grease doesn't actually look too bad. It's, yeah. Now, let's have a look in here. how this works. So this, as you can see on the wheel, on the gear here, there's an elevated plastic bit there, which is there full of grease, and I'm seeing it's not worn or anything, but as this spins round, that plastic bit there pushes against this plastic bit here, and that operates the park switch. Don't know if you can see that, in and out. So I'll dismantle the switch as well, which is this bit here, and see if I can clean up the contacts for that. It seems to be screwed, the switch itself seems to be screwed onto the inside of the motor with these two screws here, so I'll remove them and see if I can remove the switch. Yeah, and there we have it. The switch has been removed. It's sort of soldered in there as well, as you'd expect. I think I can take this backing plate off here and have a look, see if the switch itself is serviceable. I don't know if we need to remove the solder from there, but looks okay. Now I managed, I don't know if you can see, I think I'm pointing the camera too low there, hang on. Yeah. I managed to remove the cover of this just with a pair of scissors. It literally wasn't glued on or anything like that. So the switch works is that sort of pushes up against there and pushes up against there. You can see how it works. So once again, I think I'm going to clean up the contacts here and see if I can get that to work. It doesn't seem to be hugely complicated, this, at all. Yeah, can't really see the reason to replace it. Some WD on there, give it a good spray down. Now the switch itself looks in pretty good condition, but I am seeing that there's a little bit of grease underneath this, and that's probably what's causing the bad connection. I don't know, you probably can't see that here. But yeah, and it wasn't just, you know, there's a little bit of grease on the screwdriver, but I'm going to give that a doze down, and I think that is the cause of my issue. Is that when the grease melts, sort of warms up as well a bit, which seems to be what's happening. It's not making a good enough contact. Let me do that. Let's see if we can dismantle the motor itself. Mm-hmm. What I'll do is I think I'll just, I mean, it doesn't look too bad in fairness, but I'll just clean around that armature bit there and yeah, put it back together. I mean, this was working fine, so it's not like there's a big issue or anything. It looks very good inside, actually, it really does. Nice and clean. Nothing really going on here. So I'll just, as I say, a bit of sandpaper around there. See if I can find some. But I'm not going to do too much here. Don't know if you can see anything there, or it's just my hand getting in the way. Yeah, put it back in as well. Clean up the I'll just degrease the worm gear and put it back together. And basically that's the motor bit done. Put a bit more grease in there, maybe clean it up a bit. Yeah, just clean all the rim, maybe put some more grease in, and that's the motor bit done really. Actually, I'm just seeing there that one of the brush for the yellow connector, it does seem to be as if the brush is slightly broken there, and it seems to be worn more than the other two. I don't think that's going to trouble the operation for the time being, but you know, in a few years down the line that will probably need replacing. I guess I could have a look online to see if those brushes are still available for this type of motor. I'd imagine they are, and you go about replacing them at some point. Yeah, I've cleaned up most of the components now. This is really running smoothly, the wheel box, and also straightened the cable out, so this is also running a hell of a lot smoother than it was. I'll grease these up properly. Also, cleaned a lot the old grease inside there as well. So I'll grease them up again and start putting this back together, and then put it on the car and see if it'll see how well it'll work. I'm going to have to knock that in, I think, with a rubber mallet. Yeah, I won't fully put that one down. It's an earth strap's got to go on there. Last but not least, the cover bit for the switch. There we go. Toggle. I guess that's time to go back on the car. Now installation, probably you don't have to do this if you've removed the dash, but to aid getting back in, remember for people who've got the dash in there, that's the reason I've got this tip from Angus from the XL forums, if you like, or what do you call it, the Facebook group. I'm going to tie this bit of string onto the end of the wheel box, and that'll aid pulling it through. I'll pull it in through the bonnet thing there, where that sponge is just sticking out the top of the bottom of the windscreen there. Let me do that. Yeah, you might be better off doing a two-man job. As you can see, I'm pulling the string, which helps me get the wheel box in place. It's almost there. I've been struggling to get this motor back in place for a while now, and I've realised I've made a big error when I've assembled this motor component, is that the wheel box here I've actually put on the wrong way around, so that should be sort of the flap there should be facing me this way, and I think that's been the reason why I couldn't get this back in. So I'll do that now. I'll change the wheel box around and put it on the other way, the opposite way to what you can see it now, and see if that helps with installing it back into the car. Don't make this mistake, guys, like I did. It's very frustrating because it almost goes through, but just isn't quite enough thread that'll go through the hole in the bulkhead there. And you're wondering what the hell's going on. So don't make that mistake, guys. Yeah, that's the what you see from the basically when you open the dashboard up, or at least open the instrument binnacle up, and it needs to be facing you, the wheel box. Very frustrating to debug, to find out how to solve that particular issue. Yeah, I've removed the wiper control module, and I've checked out the circuit board here, and there seems to be absolutely nothing wrong with it. It doesn't seem to be problematic in any way. The only thing I'm actually going to do regarding this is, you can see the switch, the relay itself is there, and when there's a current going through that copper wire, it pulls the switch towards it, pretty much like that. So the only thing I'm going to do is basically just clean up them connectors, try and get a bit of sandpaper down there and just freshen that up a little bit. But other than that, I'm going to do no more work at all on this component. It's been butchered before, the plastic's all been broken off, but and it was taped down completely, but I'll just do the same thing myself, and yeah, when I clean up that connector, the relay thing itself there, I'll just tape it back together to weatherproof it a little bit, waterproof it a little bit. The wiper element is now back in. As I said, that was definitely the problem, where I put it in the wrong way. But yeah, so I think I'll just go ahead and test it now. Keys are in the ignition. So first thing is intermittent wipe. It stops, which is a good sign. And the intermittent wipe works and stops. That's quick wipe, slow wipe, back to intermittent, it stops and parks. and still works. That's off. Now, and it seems to be switching off. Now, of course, this doesn't prove that what I've fixed is actually fixed, but it does prove that I haven't completely screwed up for motor assembly and all the rest of it. I guess I won't be able to really know if this is solved until I take it for a reasonable test drive and start using the windscreen wipers there. But so far, so good. So that concludes this episode of Neil Donaldson's Lotus XL restoration, video number 45. Yeah, once again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for taking an interest. Please leave your comments and everything else. Feedback's always welcome. Click that like button on the video itself rather than in the Facebook post or anything like that. It's also greatly appreciated. And probably the next time, with the next episode, I'm probably going to continue with the dashboard upholstery. So please stay tuned. And until then, good evening.